Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Only a Bag, an Italy travel podcast. I'm Darcy Melton.
And I'm Nathaniel Mellor.
And today we're talking about a couple of weird events happening in Italy, weird wintertime events. But before we get into it, we want to thank everybody who has been following us and leaving reviews and commenting. If you enjoyed this podcast, you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also leave us a review if you enjoyed this podcast. It helps us out a lot. You can find us on onlyabag.com to find articles that we've written and to contact us if you have any questions. You can also contact us on Instagram at onlyabagpodcast.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do so on Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/onlyabag, where you can leave a donation. Or if you are planning your trip to Italy, you can use our affiliate links for booking, for Omio, for pretty much anything on our website or in the description of these episodes. And we receive a small commission from the company who, well, we got the booking link from.
Yes. It doesn't cost you anything else. It's just that business that you booked something through pays us a little bit.
So thank you all so much for listening and your continued support. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate it so much.
And on to the,
a quick note.
Yeah.
So next week is Christmas-ish, right? I can't remember what day Christmas is on.
Yeah.
However, we are taking a break next week.
We're going to be out of town for a bit. So we figured it'd be easier to not record rather than pre-record, especially because we wanted to do a little headline episode. Seems like Italy's been in the headlines for a lot recently. Namely, their food has entered the UNESCO World Heritage List of intangible goods or something.
Is that what it's called?
There's an intangible cultural thing. It's like it's something that's not a physical location. And it's also, I think it's a little bit strange because I think Italy's had dishes enter it before. This is the first time the entirety of the cuisine has entered it. And it has caused some feathers to be ruffled.
So we'll talk about that the week after next.
Absolutely. So, weird things happening. That's not a great... I guess the name of the show is Krampus and also Become a Tree in Southern Italy. Unrelated to one another.
Fun mystical figures in Italy's wintertime.
Yes.
Something like that. So first, shall we talk about the Walk of the Trees?
We shall. So I guess we're starting with the Become a Tree in Southern Italy. I just like it because it rhymes. And in fact, it's actually kind of technically a Carnevale. So we only found this, I will say, in looking for... This week we want to do something kind of fun and more upbeat because we'd heard some little fun stories and we'll be coming out with one episode on Friday. And we'd heard some fun things and we're like, oh, this could be kind of a fun week to do more... I don't know, sort of just whimsical or interesting episodes.
Whimsical and weird.
And less focused on like, here's some, specific things. And we thought, and then you stumbled on this type of Carnevale that is quite new, but also quite old, depending how you look at it. And we thought, you know what? That would be a fun episode to do. So this is the Carnevale of I'm trying not to mispronounce this, but I'm also trying to speak English into Italian. I apologize. Satriano. Satriano. Satriano is, I guess, how you'd say it with an American English type accent. It's the Carnevale di Satriano di Lucania. Lucania is a region that exists / does not exist anymore.
It's more of an older region, right?
Yeah, well, in Campania and Basilicata used to be part of a region called Lucania, which was the Lucanians were from a region called Lucania. They were sort of here before the Greeks were here and then lived sort of peacefully and then not so peacefully with the Greeks. And then I think at some point fell to the Roman Empire. But for a very long time, they existed here. And this is sort of one of those a lot of the names are, for instance, near us, there's a town called Athena Lucana, which is supposed to be Athens of Lucania to differentiate itself from Athens of like Greece. Back when the Greeks settled this Athens. So it was like, which Athens are you from? Are you from the Lucania one or the original? So this would be Satriano di Lucania.
And it's like 45 minutes away from us. I'd never heard of this festival before, and I'm super excited to go.
And if at the end of this, you're like, that actually sounds interesting, I might be like around Amalfi Coast or Salerno or something like that. If you're around the Amalfi Coast, Salerno, even Naples area, it's not too far to get to. If you're just interested in something like, what does this look like? It's from February 14th to February 15th of 2026. So it is coming up in about 2 months, give or take, month and a half, give or take. And it's basically originally started some time lost to time. Like nobody really knows when it started. They just know that they did it, and then they stopped doing this festival, and they only restarted about 14-ish years ago, 13 years ago, and it was about essentially reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with the earth. We've actually mentioned, I think, on previous episode, in Acciatura, another town in Basilicata, they do this marriage of the forests every year, where it's a town in between or in the middle of a forest, but north of them is one forest and south of them is another. So every year they take a tree from each forest and marry them in the middle of town as a way to basically ask for the forest to continue being healthy and providing wood and timber and lumber and things like that. And so every year they still do this, and I think the only year they have not done it in recent history is COVID, but they've been doing it pretty much nonstop for a very long time. It's one of the oldest tree ceremonies in the world, and this happens in the same region, though it is not quite the same. It's still an interestingly that it's just about connecting with nature.
It's interesting that people of Basilicata are really all about the trees.
Especially
like, we love the trees. We want to keep the climate happy. Yeah.
But it's also the only region in Italy, I believe, where they, I don't think they frack, but they do mine for natural gas, or they do harvest. I don't know the actual expression, but if you go to Basilicata, you'll notice there are like wells, I guess.
It's drilling, right?
I think it's drilling.
Drilling for oil?
Is it? I don't know if it's oil or natural gas. Is it oil?
Oh, maybe it is natural gas.
So we don't know that much about this clearly. It's a very interesting region if you ever go to Basilicata, because it's not very well known in terms of it's next to Puglia, which has, it feels like everybody knows Puglia, and just in terms of its food or its culture, or the little houses that have little cones on top, or the beaches. A lot of people know Campania because of its Amalfi Coast, Naples, things like that. Basilicata is kind of a weird one. We've talked about Matera. We've even talked about how Matera is almost always grouped together with Puglia because it has such similar architecture.
Even though it's not in Puglia.
Even though it's not in Puglia, and it was once actually the capital of Basilicata. But Basilicata is a very beautifully untouched area because it's also, I believe, one of, if not the poorest regions in Italy. So they never had the infrastructure to build up and destroy their natural, especially between the 50s and the 80s, they didn't destroy these massive tracts of land to build like factories and things. So when you kind of pass into Basilicata, all of a sudden it's like, oh, they have like forests that aren't clear cut. And it's like now it's gorgeous. And I think back in the day, it might have been a symbol of like, oh, they don't have enough money to clear cut their forests.
But it's also a region with absolutely wildly varying topography. Like, it goes from forest
100%.
to sort of barren rock, and rock like shooting out of the landscape. It's really incredible.
Calanchi, if you want to know what those are. We're going to, at some point, hopefully very soon, when Nathaniel gets his driver's license, hopefully by February, we will be driving to the Calanchi National Park, where they have these towns and also these massive rock spires coming out of the ground, to do a fun episode for y'all, because we thought, you know what, that's off the beaten path and it looks interesting. But that's not what we're talking about in this episode, and that's why I paused myself to cut off everything else I said after this. What we are talking about is Satriano di Lucania and their Carnevale, which, as I mentioned, it is only about 13 or 14 years old. Back in, I believe it was, and I'm saying I believe it was, it's 2013. I'm reading from the notes, don't worry. There's a show in MoMA called Alberi by a Italian filmmaker, Michelangelo Framartino. And he'd already done a show in MoMA before at PS1 called Quattro Volte, and it was wildly popular. People loved it. I think so 2 years later, he came back with Alberi. And I don't know enough about the filming arts to know why it was good, but it seemed like it was good, but that people loved it. And what he did is he went to this small town in Basilicata called, Satriano di Lucania, and he was curious about this old thing they used to do, which is where somebody would dress up as the forest, essentially, and come into town, called a rumita or rumito or romito, depending on how it's pronounced or how it's spelled. And essentially it was somebody who would embody the spirit of the forest, and they would come into town, literally bringing the forest into town, and they would sort of bless the houses with the blessing of the forest, and in return people would give back to the forest or to the town, sometimes with groceries, now with money. So after this meeting, and actually on the website, which we'll put in the description for this Carnevale, they said that during this meeting, they were like, wait, that was a really cool time in our history. Like, why don't we do that anymore? And it was mostly, a lot of the older people who remembered doing it when they grew up. And then it just sort of, it's just like anything else. Like people stop doing it, and then it's like whoever the association behind it stops putting it on. Or
I think we've talked about other celebrations in Italy that have done a similar thing. Like there are still older people around who participated in the tail end of this
absolutely,
event, and then it kind of fell off for one reason or another, and is now being revived. That seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of these festivals.
well, it does because I think I mean, it seems like a mix of things had, I don't know, gotten like more into one, like basically certain, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like when everybody starts believing the same one thing rather than like we all had our own beliefs, but it's like now it's kind of got funneled into one is kind of how it was. And I think now it's refunneling back out because I think people are like, oh, it was cool how our town celebrated this one weird thing,
Yeah,
rather than like not doing it anymore because, well, no one would come because like who would come to this one weird thing. I think especially with the internet and social media, it allows for people like us sharing it to you today to go to this if you ever want to, which is kind of, I mean, back in the 50s, it would have been a lot harder because they would have been, how do you get to this festival type thing,
absolutely.
So it is essentially the Romita is a wandering hermit who comes into town and with a butcher's broom, a type of plant, he brushes on the doors, and that is sort of like a gift, a blessing for that house. And it seems to be kind of quiet, or used to be a quiet thing, sort of a very, not monastic, but very peaceful thing. And now it's a little bit more a festival. And now there are 131 trees that pass through town, 131 people who pass through town, dressed up as trees, representing the 131 towns of Basilicata. And Darcy, where do they start?
So they start in it's called a Bosca Spera. It's really a wooded park area in the top of town. And so people will start in this. It's crazy. If you look at photos, there are real trees in this park. And then during this festival, there are people dressed as the trees among the trees in this park before they all set out to walk around town. And it's very cool. And in a moment, Nathaniel will talk about how you can, I think you will,
Yes, maybe.
participate in this. And
Yes.
part of it is that if you want to participate, well, should I just say it now?
Yeah.
I'll just say it now. So if you want to participate, you can go and create one of these tree costumes. Or if you're not able to go a few days in advance to make these costumes, someone can make it for you. And then when you arrive the day of, you go, I think it's like 2 p.m. to the Bosca Spera, and your tree costume is waiting for you in the forest. And you just pick up your little tree costume and pop it on and go about your business as a tree in the town.
Which is it's like part of a procession kind of parade. So it's funny. There was years ago, you and I went to this part of Long Island. And so this ties in. You're like looking at me very strangely. I can't remember, Orient Point, I think is what
Yeah,
it was.
it's a beautiful little town.
Beautiful little town. And we went to like the sort of right next to the post office. There's like the cafe and the general store type thing. And I remember like there was a little message board, and it was like one of the messages was like, if you're looking to play chess, call like Frank at this number because he's looking for somebody to play chess with. And coming from, I guess, like a city, that wouldn't necessarily be a thing, right? You put it like on Facebook, or maybe you would put something in a coffee shop, but it would be like more than a post-it note. And I realized, like, looking at this website, it is essentially this post-it note version of, I mean, it's a nice website, genuinely nice website, super easy to navigate. They have an English section, but it's also like, if you want to be part of this, call Roscoe, call so and so, call this person,
And
here's their
their
number,
real phone number, yeah, on the website.
and it was, and so even this whole idea of, if you want them to make it, they're like, so we have to go in the forest and collect ivy. A lot of it is wearing ivy and branches.
The costume essentially looks like ivy. If you've seen ivy, it's not like a thin strand of
It's a
ivy.
very
It's like
thick strand.
it is a thick branch of ivy, and it's pulled together and kind of tied
Yeah,
at
yeah.
what would be the top of your head, and then ivy branches are coming down all over your body.
And they recommend basically, if you want to become a tree, they recommend you only wear like black, brown, dark green, nothing with stripes, nothing bright colors, because they're like, you're supposed to be a tree.
Yeah.
So they also recommend you dress warm. This does happen in February. There can be snow in this town. So they recommend like warm boots, nothing, like they actually have a little thing. Don't bring your good coat. Yeah. It's going to get dirty or muddy, or maybe like something will poke through it. So like, don't bring your good coat. Bring like whatever you do for an excursion.
And they also encourage, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold that because that's for other costumes.
Okay. And I was gonna say, so if you do go, they do ask that you send like your height, I believe basically your measurements. It just says your measurements, mostly your height, your phone number, and then I think it's a €10 donation is what you pay for them to make it. And they're basically, they say like, this doesn't go towards like anything. It's just basically, we don't want to make one, and reserve your spot. And if you don't show up, then we just have to find somebody who wants to,
Right.
you know,
Because it has to be 131 people. So they want to make sure that you are fully committed to this thing. And I'm sure it also goes to, I mean, people have to go out and collect these ivy branches, which is not an easy task. And then
Exactly,
they probably have
exactly.
to find someone in the town who's close to your measurements so that they can make this tree costume as close to your measurements as possible and things like that.
Well, they also ask too, just in case you are curious, and if you're like, okay, this so far this sounds like yeses all the way. I love this. Then it does weigh between 3 and 10 kilos. That's about 6 and 20 pounds. And it seems like, and they're basically very clear. It's mostly on your head, and it's difficult to see. So it's only a 3 hour, I say only a 3 hour event, but they're like, it's a 3 hour event. Like you have to be like this for 3 hours, and you can't take off the costume and put it back on. Like they really prefer like it stays on.
Once you're a tree, you're a tree.
That's kind of thing. They talk about it's a bit of a mystical thing. Like they really want you to embody the forest. So they're like, again, there's that sort of classic, like some pain that comes with this, spiritual sort of feeling. But I think mostly too, if two people can sign up to be a romita as one romita, one tree. However, there are rules about when you switch. Essentially, you can't just switch whenever you want to switch. It's not like popping off a hat and giving it to somebody else. It's like they want to make sure it's not visible, kind of thing. They're like, no, you can go into this place and come out, and to make it
That's
feel
cool.
as if it's still one procession of trees moving together through the town.
Also, if you are a romita, right, with an A at
believe
the end?
so, yeah.
Okay. If you are this, you cannot bring your kid with you. Someone else has to look out for your kid. So if you're a tree, you cannot have a child along with you. I
There
think
are a
that's
lot of
a
rules.
lot of that. I think is probably for safety.
Yes.
I mean, like these are heavy costumes
And you cannot
that are
see
made
out
of
of them.
branches, and you can't see very well. So you can bring your kids, but somebody else has to take care of them while you're being a tree.
But is there another way to participate without being a tree?
Why, yes. So you can come and just see stuff, right?
For sure.
But you're encouraged to dress up. I'm absolutely going to dress up, just to let everybody know. I'm really excited about it. So you can dress up, what is it, as a mushroom or a fairy of some sort?
Literally, they basically say like they're creating this sort of magical forest. So anything that you can think of existing in a forest, you are more than welcome to dress up as,
Including an elf,
including an elf.
which I love.
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know if like Shrek counts, because I know some people are like, oh, well, he lives in like a swamp. Does that count? I have no idea.
From the pictures, it seems not to be like branded characters.
Yes,
Does
it
that make
seems
sense?
more like a bear, or dress up as a moose, or dress up
Well,
as...
there's a bear who's a classic character in this Carnevale celebration as well.
sure.
So yes, you can dress up as a magical character, and you're encouraged to, of course, make your own costume, but follow I think on the website it has a phrase of following the tenets of like reuse, reduce, recycle, essentially. So
Basically, they want you to make your costume out of recycled materials or,
Yes.
or something else you have lying around.
yeah, exactly.
If I thought that interesting. If you also wanted to dress up as a leprechaun, you can call Layla, which is on the website.
Yes.
And there's a little thing of saying, if you'd like to dress up as a leprechaun, call Layla, and she will hook you up with ankle boots and a hat that have all been like basically, I don't think ankle boots themselves. I think like something to go on your boots.
Yeah.
That around the ankle.
Like a buckle and thing to make it look like you have leprechaun shoes.
Yes.
And give you other advice, I think, too, on how to look like a leprechaun. And I'm curious if like, a leprechaun is a pretty specific
Yes, 100%.
title. And I wonder if that translation, if they mean general elf, because when you see a picture of Layla, she looks like a
an elf
fun
more than a leprechaun.
woodland, yes,
Yeah.
fairy elf person, not like a leprechaun specifically.
I don't get the Irish leprechaun vibe. I do get that more whimsical, like like she would look really in place in the sort of what is it, Midsummer's Night Dream? Is that the Shakespeare, like,
Yes.
and with the fairies that come and tell you the story? Puck,
I think so,
I think Puck
yes.
is in there. Okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen or read Midsummer Night's Dream.
So that was what I was thinking, like basically a production of a park production of Midsummer Night Dream is how
Yes.
it seems like you're supposed to dress up. So I think that you're right with
that's
the
a
fairy
good description, yeah.
more than leprechaun. And I think the last thing I want to mention about the Rumita before we're going to the other part of this little festival is if this is all sounding great to you and you're like, I want to go, but man, I don't know where to stay. Have no fear. If you are a Rumita, they are offering you a place to sleep in a heated gym. You have to bring your own sleeping bag, and there's only like 35 spots available, so you have to book early for this free spot in the gym. But they wrote heated toilets and showers, which is
That was in their own translation, right?
that was in a translation. But then when I look at it in Italian, it does say toilets and heated showers, not heated toilets and showers, which I think is a much better use of hot water. But You do get access to a hot shower and a toilet and a heated gym, and it's free.
But you have to bring your own sleeping bag.
But you have to bring your own sleeping bag, and you have to be able to meet that. And it's only for the first, I think, like 30 people who sign up for this. They also have something too, which I thought was interesting. It's not over now, but I think the application's over. But it's for young people, 18 to 30, who want to apply. And you go and spend 3 weeks in this town, sort of helping it get started.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, you're supposed to arrive there by like I think late January, and then into February 15th when it starts. But you help with the workshops, you help put things together, you help collect the ivy, this and that. It's an ecological project basically designed to encourage young people who have an interest.
That.
Yeah, in ecological activity. So I think it's a little over. I think it's just over this year. But if you're between 18 to 30 listening to this and that sounds interesting to you, I believe it's open to anyone. I don't believe it's only for people in Italy. I know for a fact it is a European-wide initiative because they've partnered with different European sort of initiative things to make it happen. But if you are between 18 and 30 and that sounds interesting, I believe you can apply for or get ready to apply for next year's if you're just like, yes, I would like to hang out in a forest and collect ivy and be a mushroom.
That sounds amazing. And we'll put a link to this website
course.
and to this information in the description.
And what else can you do while you're what else is part of this?
So another part of this Carnevale celebration is the zita.
Like baked ziti, but with an A at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Zita, which is a gender-flipped marriage ceremony.
Yes.
Okay. So men dress as women and women dress as men, of course. And in the photos, it looks like mostly they're dressed in, the guy's wearing a wedding dress and the woman's wearing a suit.
Yes, and it's sort of they do encourage too. If it's like for women dressing as men, they do encourage like beards and mustaches. So a lot of the women in the background have like bowler hats.
Really
and
put
suits.
in the work.
Yes,
everyone.
And then but it's also almost none of the men have shaved. So it's just sort of like it's just all these men in dresses with beards and then wigs.
Again, in the photos, most of the men participating look pretty like burly men.
Yes,
they're very.
And also,
yeah.
The ages seem pretty wide. Like it is between, whatever, 18, 20, and then 70, 75, 80. It reminds me, what is that party in England that is like, I don't know, I've only ever heard of it from Britcoms. It's the...
Oh, Tarts and Vickers?
Tarts and Vickers. Is that not a gender flip thing, or is that just Tarts and Vickers?
I think it's just Tarts and Vickers.
Oh,
I
okay.
think women just dress scantily clad, I guess, is the
and then
point.
men as Vickers?
And men as Vickers?
Okay, I think we watched
maybe
something
maybe they do a gender flipped version. I can't remember.
Okay, maybe
I've never attended one.
No, because I think it's one of the Bridget Jones' Diary or something that starts with a flipped one, or doesn't start with a flipped one. It's something like that, and maybe not. Maybe
she dresses up as a bunny, like a Playboy bunny. So I don't think that was gender flipped.
Then I have no idea.
I know this one's way more fun.
Yeah, it seems like it is. It seems.
And can regular people participate in that?
Oh, you have no idea. You totally can.
Okay.
So you can participate in essentially the whole ceremony, but it is still, they're basically saying this is still sort of ceremoniously or I guess aesthetically, I don't know, a wedding. Okay. So you are participating in a wedding. You have to bring a wedding gift. And you are more than welcome to join the lunch. There's a number for a guy to call if you'd like to go to the lunch. I'm sure it's a WhatsApp. You can translate a message into Italian if you want to go, because he just needs to know how many meals to make during this time.
I love it.
And I think it makes it seem like it's free to go. You just have to bring a donation of a gift, as all they say.
For the happy couple.
Yeah, for the happy couple. And you do have to be gender flipped. So you can't just show up as like whatever it is.
I love it.
I know.
Wait, okay. So if someone were to attend, say myself, I wouldn't dress as a groom necessarily, but I would dress as a man attending the wedding.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you wouldn't. It's not a bunch of brides and a bunch of grooms. It's just
okay. So there is a single couple, and then the people attending are
Yeah.
gender flipped attending the wedding.
And they recommend, like, they're like, raid basically if there's somebody in your family of the opposite gender, just raid their closet, grab some things. And it's a lot of wigs. It's a lot of like loud colors, a lot of suits. It's clearly like everybody asked their grandfather for a suit. So a lot of women asked their grandfather for a suit. And again, it's in the middle of the not winter, but it's February. So it's quite cold.
It's cold.
So keep that in mind if you are attending.
I really want to go.
It seems fascinating. It seems like I said, it's been 14 years, and this is the 7th year, I believe, as a. They have a specific, like, it's a because it's all like recycled. They spend a lot of money to separate all the trash and this and that. So it's also some kind of ecological tourism festival type thing. It's the 7th year getting a certain
And they made
accolade.
a big deal on the website, right, of not using plastic and single-use items during any part of
no
the festival,
disposable
right?
cups type thing. So it's like a lot of paper products, a lot of wood products. And I don't know how they're going to get away with not doing disposable cups because it says no disposable cups, not no disposable plastic cups. So I don't know if it's something where, like, I know that some wine tasting festivals we've been to, you buy a glass, like an actual physical glass at the beginning of the festival, and you use that throughout the festival. So I don't know if it's something like that where
They could also be differentiating between the terms disposable and compostable. So if
that
they
could
have
totally
like
be it.
compostable cups,
That
that
could
might
totally be it.
be a thing.
So, and it looks really, I mean, Jenny was quite cutely set up. It has all the wooden stalls and it's like, they have all food stalls. They also mentioned too, if you're interested in going, but you don't, if you want to go to the wedding, but you don't like dress up basically.
Because you have to dress up to go to the wedding, right?
Yes. They made it very clear that if you'd like to eat, there are food stalls if you want to be part of the wedding.
They're like, if you don't dress up and you still want to eat, there's food stalls for you there.
They made it very clear that this is only
I'm
for
putting
people
way more
dressing.
stank on that.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to attend the wedding if you're not dressed.
Yes, but you can still see like all the ceremony stuff afterwards, but not but like during the meal and stuff, it seems very focused on people who want to be part of the ceremony type thing.
And do you know does the wedding, the zita, does that happen on the same day as the
Yes,
tree
I believe
walking?
so. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like it all happens pretty much one day.
Okay.
At least that's what I found. I know it said 15th to 16th, but
14th to 15th?
14th to 15th. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just misread that note. But it looks like those happen on the same day.
Okay.
So that is just something. But it's all supposed to happen on Sunday. I don't remember which of the 14th or the 15th. I should have written it down. Or is it Sunday? But it's a Sunday before Shrove Tuesday that it happens.
Cool.
And I think that is everything that I have
I love
for the
it.
Carnevale.
I'm really excited for that.
I am too.
I need to bring 2 costumes. I need to dress as a man, and I also need to dress as a fairy woodland mushroom creature.
If you dress as a male fairy, then you're set.
Okay.
Warm with a jacket.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna be thinking about
We're
that.
gonna figure this out.
Yes. If you want to attend, let us know, and we'll meet up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about another fun event.
Yeah.
So this one, sadly, has already passed for this year. So this is just getting us all ready for next year.
Absolutely. C'est dommage, if you will.
It is. It is c'est dommage.
Which is, it is sad in French,
Not Italian.
not Italian. I just want to throw that out there in case somebody was like, I didn't understand that in Italian. It was not. That was me exercising the 2 words I know in French.
So let's talk about Krampus.
Love it.
Okay. So I did not know until about yesterday that there were any sort of Krampus festivities in Italy, which is why we have not told you about them until now.
Okay.
So there are so I'm going to mention 3 towns where there are Krampus. Specifically, they're called Krampuslof. I apologize for my pronunciation.
I was like, I love it.
So these are all around Bolzano. And so there are Krampuslof, which are Krampus parades that feature various Krampuses, as well as Teufel.
Okay.
That is spelled Tuifl. And those are Krampus.
Okay.
Teufel.
I think you nailed it, honestly. Teufel.
Teufel. Those are Krampus-like demons, and usually St. Nicholas is involved in these parades as well.
Okay.
Typically, these will be parades that start with Santa Claus / St. Nicholas, and then at the end of the parade are the Krampuses.
I love it.
They follow him.
Okay.
Another thing I didn't realize is that I thought Krampus was a standalone character, and I think originally he might have been, but in I believe it was like the 17th century, 17th, 18th century, he was put together with St. Nicholas. And so now...
As the same or as like a duality type thing?
A duality.
Okay.
And I think that's because like St. Nicholas was wonderful and happy and joyful and brought presents. And everybody's like, well,
Where's
what about the
Ebenezer
naughty...
Scrooge in
Yeah,
this?
well, like, what are we going to do with the naughty children? We need to give them a buddy. So they put the 2 of them together. So often in celebrations, they go together.
That makes sense. Okay.
In some of these descriptions, it says that Krampus kind of like belongs to St. Nicholas, which I don't love the idea of, as if he just kind of like these Krampuses tag along to dole out scariness.
I love that though. Where's your gift? Oh, he has it for you.
Yeah. Actually, one of the websites was so specific. They were like, back in the day, they don't say back in the day, but like originally Krampus would have doled out punishments to the naughty children. But don't worry, he doesn't do that anymore.
Thank God, I guess. That's amazing.
Okay, so let's get into some of these towns. So I want to talk about first Val di Fassa, because this is the town that I saw first and let me know that these Krampus celebrations happen.
Is this the one with the souped up tractor?
Yes.
Okay.
So I saw a video on Instagram of a single Krampus driving a tractor, and then the tractor was hauling a small trailer with several other Krampuses jumping off and on
Yes.
during a festival, during a parade.
It looked alcohol fueled, if I'm being. If it looked like one of those things where like there's no way that was done 100% sober.
Well, here's the thing. These Krampuses come from all over. It's not just people in the town who are Krampus.
That makes sense. Okay.
So Val di Fassa in Trentino is about an hour east of Bolzano
Okay.
by car.
Okay.
So this parade only happens every 2 years, but don't worry, there are 2 others that I'm going to talk about that happen every year.
Is there a reason it only happen? Is it just more of like a pain to set this up, or is it just? Is
I
it more
imagine
of a,
it's that, and also I believe that these Krampuses are paid for their work. Like they do this
Interesting.
professionally.
Okay, so it's a bit like
I
the
imagine
funding is-
exactly. That's my
okay.
guess. I don't know exactly.
Huh.
So this year the parade was on November 29th. Historically, the parades are supposed to happen on December 5th. That is the day before St. Nicholas
Yeah,
Day.
St. Nicholas feast day.
Exactly. So the patron saint of Val di Fassa is St. Nicholas.
Okay.
So on November 29th, there was a parade that starts from the Church of St. Nicholas and goes into the main part of town. So because St. Nicholas is their patron saint, he's a big part of this parade. And then all of these Krampuses follow. So
St. Nicholas being Santa Claus, for those of you who are
Yes.
wondering why we keep saying St. Nicholas, it is the Santa Claus of legend.
Yes, thank you, Nathaniel. So in this parade, there are more than 400 Krampuses from
Good Lord.
Trentino
Wow.
Alto Adige, which is the area around this town,
Okay.
as well as Veneto and Austria.
Veneto, Austria. Okay, and Trento. Okay, that's a pretty big little. So there's 400 people who do this semi-professionally enough that they can.
Oh, there are thousands of people who do this semi-professionally.
I mean, to be fair, there are thousands of people who
Krampus
do
needs a job.
Santa semi-professionally. So that's I guess that's the same thing.
And you should see the way they look.
It
They
seems- yeah.
are incredible.
It seems kind of like the cosplaying, not like their cosplay, but it means how like people put like thousands of dollars into cosplay and go to conventions.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff.
absolutely.
It seems like from the video you showed me, it seemed a bit like that, where it's like this is the event of the year. Or
Yes, and when
2
you
years.
see I was going to say still photos. When you see photos from a lot of these different events, you can see up close sort of their costumes. Or for those who are true Krampuses, just how they look always.
I love it.
I'm a true believer in Krampus over here. So it's absolutely incredible. So Krampus generally has a fur coat / outfit / body with horns and a carved mask with sharp teeth.
Okay.
Some of them are more angry looking than others, but he looks pretty scary, his face. As well as a cowbell. Sometimes Krampus has chains and a whip as well.
Good Lord.
And Krampus
Okay.
is a half human, half animal demon who these days helps out Saint Nick.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're gonna take whatever work you can get.
And
I love
so
it.
is chaos.
I love it.
Really is what he's doing out here in the streets. So a fun thing about Val di Fassa is that in one of our last recent episodes, we talked about what is the super ski? Dolomiti
Yes.
Super Ski.
Dolomiti Super Ski.
Which is a connection of a bunch of different ski areas, right? So along the slopes on December 6th, on St. Nicholas feast day, Krampuses descend upon the slopes.
I love that.
Sowing chaos. They just pop up out of nowhere. They're skiing around. They're sowing chaos. They're taking pictures with everybody. It
That
looks
is actually amazing. When is that?
absolutely
December
incredible.
6th?
December 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
When just in Dolomiti Super Ski area, or specifically the Trentino Alto Adige?
Around that area, yes. And I will do my best to find, at least for this year, they listed 2 specific ski areas where they would
Okay.
be, but I think it changes year by year.
Because that does seem extremely fun.
Oh, yeah.
To be
I would
skiing
love to
and
see
then-
Krampus
yeah.
skiing around. I would be terrified,
Oh yeah,
but I would love it.
It seems really fun.
So let's move on to another town. I'm going to say this wrong.
I love this. Okay.
Toblach?
Ooh, I know, but I like the
Toblach?
guttural ch on that.
It sounds quite not Italian. I don't know what it sounds like.
To block. I have no idea.
Toblach. This is an hour and a half northeast of Bolzano. This is the oldest Krampus parade in South Tyrol.
Okay.
I would say that this is the oldest Krampus parade in Italy.
Okay.
Because I don't think that these
Yeah, I guess
Krampus
it's not a big
celebrations
thing.
happen in anywhere else other than the north of Italy.
And this is also South Tyrol, sort of Trento area.
Yes. Okay, so I was confused about this.
Okay.
There's Trentino Alto Adige, right?
Okay.
And then there's South Tyrol.
Yes.
And they kind of butt up against each other.
If I'm not
Right?
mistaken, Trentino is north of South Tyrol, and together they create the Trentino Alto Adige region.
Thank you. See, I'm still confused about it.
What's weird because even though they create the same region, I think it's Trentino Alto Adige / Sud Tyrol. I believe it's weird because Tyrol is
Its
like
own thing.
well, no, but it's also after the slash.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just if you're somebody saying, "Oh, it's the Trentino Alto Adige region," then you're like, "Oh, where's that in relation to South Tyrol?" And it's weird, like, "Oh no, it's in it. It's just didn't get part of the name." So it's a little bit like saying it's in the North South Dakota, and it's but they just dropped one of the Dakota names, so it's just North South. No, that's a terrible example, actually.
I'm confused by it.
I think I led to more confusion on that one. For everybody listening, it's like, I don't get it at all. So it's a region. It's up there.
So South Tyrol is an area, and then Trentino is an
It's
area
a separate
for sure.
area north of it, yes.
Yes, and they share a border. They border each other.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Okay. So this is in Toblach,
Okay.
an hour and a half northeast of Bolzano.
Okay.
And we'll leave it there. so their Krampus parade,
Basically Austria, though.
yeah, they're north.
Yeah.
So their Krampus parade happens on this December 7th, and this happens every year. So their parade is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Nice.
And
okay.
they have 600 demons. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. What is it? What did I say? Tweefel.
Tweefel.
So they have...
Sounds like a delicious like pastry or cookie or
It really
something
does,
like
yeah.
the tool, like a Tweefel tool.
So they have 600 Tweefels and Krampuses from South Tyrol, Austria, Germany, and Switzerland.
Okay, South Africa, Austria, Germany, okay. So it's like kind of all the countries you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, all the classic places that Krampus lives.
That's what I'm thinking.
Krampuses
Native
come
habitat.
from. Exactly. So I love that specifically on the website for this one. Again, we'll put all the websites for these festivals in the description. They have several Krampus free zones. So
Okay.
I think they're specifically for kids, like if they're having too
Yeah.
much, because
Yeah.
they look scary.
Absolutely,
So if
they
you're
do.
bringing kids, I mean, if you're going to a Krampus festival and you have kids, I'm sure you've already prepared them, but just make sure everybody in your party knows that they're going to look scary.
Especially some of the video, you showed me a video, I think, and they do not aggressively, but they do sort of jump or lunge at people. And,
Yes.
and it's sort of like, oh, we're making sort of whatever, merriment and also
And most
sowing
of
discord.
these parades have some sort of barricade, so you do have an area where they're not going to come near you, and they are professional Krampuses. Like, they're not going to touch you.
Right.
They're not actually physically going to harm you, but they are. I mean, their body movements are very animated and scary, and so sometimes when they kind of lunge and wiggle their whole body and head, it's scary looking in a cool weird way, but it can be terrifying.
But it's either like 5-year-old nightmare fuel or 5-year-olds like, I want to be that person. That looks amazing. I love this.
Exactly. So in Toblach, there are Krampus-free areas where you can go chill out, calm down for a little bit. Mostly it's for kids, but there's some space for adults in there as well, they said.
Some space. Just right around the ring. You can just...
Well, I imagine too, if you're an adult, you can like walk outside of the city center. If you're a kid, you're like, nope, I need my safe
Good point.
space.
You need like a little cage.
Yeah. Yes.
I like that.
So let us move on to another town that I'm going to mispronounce. If I were saying it in English, I would say Castle Ruth, but it begins with a K, and it's not English. So I'm like, Castle Ruth.
I love the fun like
It's a
gutturals you
fun-
put on it.
Obscure accent that I'm doing. So this is 30 minutes
Somebody's
northeast
going to pronounce
of
it, by the way, and
Bolzano.
you're like, you mean Castle Ruth? And you're like, oh, come on.
I know.
That's what it's pronounced.
I do apologize. I'm sure I'm saying all of these places wrong. So this is 30 minutes northeast of Bolzano, and this is the largest Krampus parade it says South Tyrol. But again, I think it's the largest Krampus parade in Italy.
It's got to be in Italy because nobody in Italy celebrates Krampus at all.
No.
I'm sure people where we live have never heard of Krampus.
Exactly.
So
And do you
it's a
want
little
to know how many Tweefel/Krampuses participate in this one?
All right, there was 400 in the first, 600 in the 2nd. I'm going to go with 800 in this one just because
1,000.
that's actually a lot more than I thought. to be
Isn't that
honest.
insane?
That's got to be like just sort of the event of the year for a lot of people who do that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems amazing. So these people come from South Tyrol, Trentino, Austria, and Switzerland.
I mean, but like also it has to also be like in Germany and other people because that's
Well, here's
huge.
the thing. So it seems to me, I don't know enough about this, but it seems to me that these Krampuses and Tweefel travel in groups. So groups of them
Interesting.
come to these different celebrations.
Almost like a troop or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I imagine it's something like that. So it might be that they really only come from these 4 places, but they're just very large troops.
Because also, if that makes sense, especially if it's like a language barrier type thing. I know South Tyrol speaks German, I believe, or a German
Possibly
version.
Swiss, because it's
Possibly.
near Switzerland.
I don't know.
No?
I'm going to say that I'm going to say something people are going to be like, that's not true, but I don't think Switzerland has a language. I believe they speak Swiss German, Swiss French, Swiss Italian.
Oh.
And I think there's like another.
Well,
like,
isn't that crazy?
yeah, it's like not Romanesco because that's something else, but I think there's another language, but I don't believe Switzerland has.
Romanesco is a leafy green.
Oh yeah, it's the one that looks like cauliflower, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's not leafy. It's that one they use in Star Wars.
Yeah, it is one they use in Star Wars. So if I look up Swiss, I'm only saying this because I think Romanesh. That's what it is. Romanesh.
That's pretty close to Romanesco.
Thank you. Yeah, one is a language, but it looks like Romanesh is only spoken in a very small percentage, like 0.5%. But mostly it looks like it's German, then French, then Italian.
Oh, well, that's fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah, which I think. I think I read there was a TV show that mentioned that or something.
So I would imagine that German is spoken in. I mean, German is definitely spoken in northern Italy. Would you think Austrian is spoken at all?
At least in
northern Italy.
Possibly, yeah.
And a lot of these places, I mean, everywhere in Italy, every region, every town has its own dialect. And a lot of these places, I think, cling pretty hard. I mean, everywhere does, but they speak often their local dialect. As well.
Yeah. Just for what it's worth, by the way, if you said, do they speak Austrian? Of course, what you meant was, do they speak Austrian German? To which I replied, I don't know. But apparently Austrians speak a language called Austrian German. I looked that up too.
Very confusing.
Which I guess makes sense, like historically, I guess in just my head that it was, because the official language is German. It's just a variety called Austrian German. And,
Okay.
So that is.
I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a learning experience for everybody involved. I love it.
So back to Castle Ruth, which cannot be pronounced that way.
We're going to find out that it is.
So their celebration is a little bit later in the year. We actually just missed it by a few days. So their celebration is on December 13th. It's also, through my research, it seems to me that it is the longest celebration daytime, like hours wise.
Okay.
So this one happens from 2 p.m. Nice little afternoon beginning. Their parade is from 5 to 7 p.m. And then there is music and dancing all throughout the town until 2 a.m.
That seems really nice.
They are
actually.
raucous. You see their Krampuses, they are partying. They're going to the club. There was one, I think on their official website, it cannot have translated correctly, but I looked at it in Italian as well. They have underground garages in town where they have like impromptu clubs.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it seems amazing. And what I think they mean is like where like you keep your car
Yeah.
in the mountainside.
Yeah.
That turns into
that's
like a
the thing,
pop-up club.
But we have like underground garages everywhere else, so I'm thinking that makes sense.
But I don't think it's like underground. It's like, a car park in the side of the mountain.
No, but I was thinking like would not just be one of the underground garages?
Oh, it could be actually.
Because I know because I'm thinking like I work from Savannah, which is not at all. There's no mountains anywhere nearby, but there's obviously tons of underground garages.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it could just be like, oh, they're like it's great acoustics down here, or it's subterranean, and I don't know if Krampus lives under the. I don't know where
Krampus lives.
I know there's the North Pole, and then there's like just to the left of the North Pole, there's the Krampus cave or something.
Could be. I need to do more research to know.
Me too. Okay.
But it seems amazing. I mean, they go crazy in Castle Ruth with their Krampuses.
Is this the one you showed me that looks like they make really good pastries, or is that another town?
Oh, yeah. I think this is the one, Castle Ruth. Yeah. It's it's picturesque, this town.
It's insanely gorgeous.
I would say that Toblach and Val di Fassa are both, they're also both very pretty, but they look like, classic Alpine villages mixed with 1980s Italian villages.
Gorgeous.
Castle Ruth is picturesque.
Yeah, and because we mentioned Bolzano in a previous episode being a little over their tourism, and this is the region that I think is in general a little over to their tourism, but they look like when you see a town, sometimes like that they make good pastries there, and this is one of those towns like I could tell this is one of those picturesque storybook pastry places. And
something I didn't mention is that with all of these celebrations, so the parade is the big draw, of course.
Sure.
But they are because they're in Italy, of course, they're big on food. So there's lots of food involved in these celebrations. Some of them have Christmas markets associated with them. So there's a lot of festive merriment stuff going on and opportunities for fun food.
We have to check these out next year. I think
know.
this is the play, because this seems, between the food, the fun, the carousing, the ski sloping, which I know is not for another 2 years, but this seems like the place we should go investigate.
Ski sloping is not for another 2 years?
I thought
oh, right. The one where the Krampus is on the slopes. Yeah.
Which is
not
a
for another 2 years.
bit of a shame, but that is okay. We will be on that one too.
Yeah.
This could be it.
It seems amazing.
This could be the future of Only a Bag. The Krampus edition.
Exactly. Do you think we could interview a Krampus?
That would be fun. That would be fun.
All right. We're going to research that and get back to you guys.
This hard-hitting journalism here at Only a Bag.
Yeah.
And I think that is everything.
Yeah,
is that everything?
That's everything I have.
So we've learned that there is a tree ceremony in southern Italy, which there's also has a gender swap wedding, and then there are also Krampuses running the slopes of northern Italy, as well that Switzerland does not have a Swiss language and Austrians speak German. This has been a fascinating episode that we have learned so much. We are different people at the end of this episode than we were at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we appreciate y'all taking this journey with us.
Thanks for listening. Tanti abbracci.